Philadelphia's suburban main line neighborhoods are some of the most sought after places to live in the country for a lot of reasons. But there's also some cons to living on the main line. So what I'm going to do is break down the pros and cons of living on the main line right now for you. So pros and cons of the main line. And before I get started, if you can make sure to subscribe and follow the channel, that way you're getting the most recent up-to-date information about the Metro Philadelphia area. So the main line, where is it, right? So it spans anywhere from Lower Merion Township out to Tredeffern Easttown or maybe Great Valley School District. And the reason I say that is this has been a little bit of a controversy over the years. Is Great Valley or is Malvern part of the main line? And I would argue it really depends on where the train runs. That's how the main line was started. It's named the main line because of the formerly R5, now the Holy Thorn Day Line that runs along Lancaster Avenue, Route 30. So recently, with the resurgence of the Malvern train station, some people are arguing Malvern's part of the main line. So just to give you an idea, and we'll put a map up behind us here of what the main line looks like. You can see where it is. That's where the neighborhoods span. And the appeal to them is the convenience to getting into Philadelphia, because you can hop on a train and it could be anywhere from 15, 20 minutes up to maybe 45 minutes, but you're not dealing with the Schuylkill Expressway and the commuting. When you drive into the city, you can just take a train, get on, get off, super easy, and get off at one of the downtown stations, whether it's 30th Street, Market East, or obviously Suburban Station. So that's kind of the thought process behind the main line. That's some of the appeal of it, is the ability to commute into the city. So what are the pros? Biggest pro to me is the train access. If you're going into Philadelphia to work every day, that commute, because I've done it, and I obviously have an office in suburban Philadelphia, and I lived in downtown Philadelphia for a very long time, that train line can take a lot of stress out of your commute. So specifically the Holy Thorn Day Line, to me, is one of the biggest pros about living on the main line. Whether it's a quick Uber ride there, you're able to walk there, someone drops you off in the morning, the trains run regularly, they're very easy to get on and off, and it just makes life a lot easier. Think about all the time you get back when you commute on a train. You can read, you can prep for work, you can bring your laptop and use a hotspot, you can make phone calls, whatever that is. That's time back, as opposed to driving in your car, getting stuck in traffic, and not being able to be productive. So that's a major, major pro of living on the main line. One of the other pros that I find is the smaller downtown areas that have been redeveloped over the past couple of decades. You've got North Wayne Avenue, very happening spot. You've got restaurants like the Goat's Beard, the Great American Pub, Teresa's, and that just names a few that are right there, right when you get off the train. Literally, you get off the train and you're right there. And you have all this sort of downtown area. You can grab a drink, grab a bite to eat. It's very vibrant. You have outdoor dining. Very, very appealing in my view, that downtown area. Downtown Wayne's one of them. Suburban Square and downtown Ardmore are another one of these locations that have been massively developed, and you have businesses moving in, whether it's access to Tired Hands Brewery, you're going to DePaul's Steakhouse, which is in the old bank building right by the train station, literally walking distance. There's a ton of Irish pubs and Asian restaurants there. You've got Lola's Garden, Average Joe's if you're looking for a family sort of feel, Dan. All these places are there right when you get off the train station. So even if you're coming from like a Bryn Mawr, or you're coming from maybe somewhere further away, you don't have to drive there. Now with Uber, it's not as, and Lyft obviously, it's not as big of a deal to be able to take the train, but you have these downtown areas that are popping up. And then in Ardmore, you also got the farmer's market right there. Very, very cool spot. It's like a very small Reading terminal. So you have all these downtown areas that are popping up. Narberth has some downtown appeal. You have downtown Bryn Mawr as well, and that's a little bit more of a college scene with what's going on at Villanova, but you have places like Fiore Rosa with the Marc Vetri restaurant that's right there, La Colombe. So you have all these spots where you can grab a bite to eat, take your family out, get some ice cream. There's a lot of shopping there as well. That's what people want in today's world, and a lot of consumers and a lot of home shoppers, what they find is they want to be able to go somewhere that's not 20, 30 minutes away from their home, and it's super local. So these downtown areas that have popped up, even Malvern has a little bit of a downtown feel now with the train station being right there and some of the restaurants, shops, cafes, bars, that sort of thing. And you see it along the main line as well with some other places too. Berwyn's got a couple spots, as well as Stratford and obviously North Wayne Avenue like we talked about. So you have all these things kind of happening right there, which is really cool. So the restaurants in the downtowns are very, very attractive living on the main line. There's places to go, and there's probably a need for more of them, but they've really started to develop it. You've seen a lot of the major culinary talents in Philadelphia come out to the main line. You've got Nick Elmi of Laurel. He's opened a restaurant in Ballard. Marc Vetri at Fiore Rosa. You're seeing, those are two, along with some of the other stuff that's been developed. Dan coming out to Suburban Square. So it gets very exciting when you see those kinds of people developing suburban destinations. So that's a big pro of living on the main line. You also got a lot of shopping. We talked about that. There's shopping at Suburban Square. You've got access to a mini Target now in Wynwood, which is great. You have access to King of Prussia, which is only about 15 or 20 minutes from anywhere on the main line, which is obviously the shopping mecca if you're looking for that big mall experience, all the fancy retail shops. And the cool thing is that there's also smaller places you can go so you don't have to deal with driving to King of Prussia. But it's very easy to access the King of Prussia Mall, and that's a really appealing thing when you're living on the main line. So you got shopping, you got dining, you got a lot of your amenities really, really close and very convenient. The school systems. Not only public schools, but also a ton of private schools right along the main line. You've got places like Devon Prep, Shipley, Malvern Prep, Villa Maria, Notre Dame, the Agnes Irwin School, the Haverford School, the list goes on. You've got Episcopal, which is close to the main line in Newtown Square. You could argue that one, depending on how you view the main line. The point is, there are a lot of options for private schools, and obviously there's a high cost to those, and the public school systems are very highly rated. So you've got with school districts of Great Valley, Tredeffer and Easttown, Radnor Township, and Lower Merion Township. It's really hard to go wrong with the school systems, and you're going to be in great shape no matter where you choose to send your kids. And having that public option is really great because it's a money saver for people, and you're getting a very strong education. We send our children to public school, so we're backing up the advice that we're giving you. On top of that, you've got a lot of parks and open space. There are numerous parks along the main line, and you have access to Valley Forge Park, which is right adjacent to Tredeffer and Easttown. That's one of the best parks in the country. You've got a lot of open space. There's tons of township parks throughout Tredeffer and Easttown, throughout Radnor Township, throughout Lower Merion Township and Great Valley, and a lot of great parks locally where you can get outside. There's some with playgrounds for kids, there's some with baseball fields, there's some that are just for walking and hiking, and you can also tap into the Wissahickon Trail from Lower Merion as well, so you got a lot of great outdoor space you can take advantage of that I think a lot of people learned about during the COVID pandemic. So that's a really exciting way to get outside and take advantage of your local community. You got places like Cobb's Creek not too far away, so there's a lot of wildlife that comes in. You see deer and animals. So even though you're on the main line in one of the more densely populated suburbs, you have these national parks that kind of feed in wildlife, which is a very cool thing. And the last pro that I found is that there's a ton of job opportunities on the main line. You have places like the Radnor Corporate Center, King of Prussia, Chesterbrook, Mainline Health, obviously is based on the main line. You got the Paoli Hospital, you got Lankenau Hospital. And you have access to Philadelphia. So there's a lot of jobs locally, a lot of local employers, and a lot of large businesses coming to the area. So the job market is pretty robust, and your ability to tap into King of Prussia pretty easily and maybe a 15 to 20 minute commute from any of these places, as well as getting into the city, the Radnor Corporate Center, and the Mainline Health System. You've got a lot of opportunities to find jobs locally and reasons to move to this area, which is very exciting. So a lot of pros. Here's some of the cons. Con number one, the traffic getting into Philadelphia is horrible. If you want to drive into town, it is not fun. Taking the Schuylkill Expressway is the best way to go from all these destinations. Taking the reverse commute in or going through West Philly is not going to be an efficient way to get there, so you're stuck taking the Schuylkill, which is not a great way to travel, in my view. I hate the Schuylkill Expressway. It's necessary. If traffic's there, it's jammed. If it's not, it's great, but we know that obviously traffic is unpredictable, and the highway is built between a river and a mountain, so not a lot of room to go around there. So that's a major con, and that's one of the reasons that it's a pro to have the train station right there, especially if you're commuting into Philadelphia. That's a really important thing. So the con led to a pro that's part of the infrastructure of the main line. Con number 2, the tax volatility on properties. So what a lot of people don't realize is you have Lower Merion Township, which is in Montgomery County, and Narberth Borough, part of it's surrounded by Lower Merion Township. Then you've got Radnor Township, which is in Delaware County. And then you have Tredeffer and Easttown Townships. So Tredeffer and Easttown, 2 separate townships. They're in Chester County, and all of Great Valley School System is in Chester County, East Whiteland, Willistown, Malvern Borough, and Charlestown Township. So they're all in Chester County. And there is some tax volatility along there. Delaware County typically has a higher county tax rate, and the taxes are a little bit higher for the most part in Delaware County than they're going to be in Montgomery County or in Chester County. Now, this is not a by-the-book thing, so you really got to examine, if you're looking to make a home purchase, where the property taxes are coming in for each of these neighborhoods. Really, really important. So there is some tax volatility there, and depending on where you want to be, you might have to prioritize location over taxes or taxes over location. It really just depends. And the third con, and to me this is also a pro, is that you're dealing with older homes for the most part. The age of the homes, especially once you get past Great Valley and into TE, Radnor, Lower Merion schools, there's definitely newer homes, no question about it. There's also a lot of historic homes, homes that are hundreds of years old, homes that are older. They're built with stone and mortar and brick, and it can be a real positive from a charm perspective. I live in an older home that's pre-World War II, and I think there's a lot of positives to that. They're built in a way that they don't build homes today. And every time something goes, you tend to see that it costs a little bit more money to fix it. So you kind of got to know what you're getting into with an older home, and that's not going to be for everybody. Some people are going to like that charm. They're going to like that sort of feel when you walk into those homes, and obviously that's clear because of the demand for housing. The flip side is that you might have to deal with a little bit more maintenance. So those are really the cons. And then there's a bonus one here at the end. There's a wide variety of housing in all of these areas. You see townhomes, condos, single-family homes. There's a lot of options there if it's something that you're considering. So we got the pros, we got the cons. Sit down, look at it, see if the main line's going to be for you. It's a great place to live. I live there. I believe in it. A lot of folks do. And that should help you understand the greater Philadelphia market and the metro Philadelphia area a lot better.